This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Talking now with Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation on our McClarty Daniel hotline. Mike, good to hear from you today. What's new on this Monday?
Well, we're inching closer to SEC Media Days, which, more and more talk about football will start then. I mean, we've still got basketball stuff going on and a lot of talk about the baseball draft. And, how these four Razorbacks are doing game to game in the NBA summer leagues. And, people are debating who's looking the best, who's this, who's that. Nick Smith Jr. starts off, has a great first game, then regresses, and looking more like he looked toward the end of last year. So, I mean, there's a lot of that going on, but at least with football, you're talking about something that's about to happen in a month and a half, 2 months, or whatever.
And it's the things that involve players that will be Razorbacks when that season starts. That's another aspect of it. It's one of the things about the Major League Draft that makes it so different than the other sports, man. It's just like there's all these names you see commits and signees who are never going to show up on campus. Guys that maybe when Dave Van Horn and the coaching staff sign them, they know there's no chance that they're going to sign. Then maybe they just kind of have a little hope about it. And then there's the guys, then we'll hear those names today, Borfin, Callie, Josenberger, Holland, and you just kind of wonder, are they going to be offered the kind of money that's going to get them to go to the pros? I think there's a couple of those names, maybe Borfin and Callie, that I could see maybe returning to Arkansas. But, I mean, that's the thing that's happening right now, but it's also the most unscientific of the drafts, and I think that goes for all of the parties involved, the players, the major league teams, and especially the college teams.
Yeah, and with football, what we're getting now is all these fans are wanting to know, hey, does KJ have a chance to win the Heisman? Can Rocket Sanders win the Heisman? I mean, they always put some goal out there that's like, come on, guys, calm down here a little bit. I've said this before, and somebody tried to tell me over the weekend that the reason that Darren McFadden didn't win the Heisman was because he was a sophomore. They may have put that story out at the time because, we know what happened after that. You got a freshman winning it the next year. So it's not that. They lost 4 games that year, 2006. They lost 4 games. He may have had a great year. But these Heisman electors are not going to put somebody, make them the Heisman winner on a team with 4 losses. Just not going to happen. So you want to know if KJ Jefferson win the Heisman and Rocket Sanders or whatever, you got to start with Arkansas having maybe losing 1 game the whole season, which means you win the SEC and get into the playoffs. Maybe you're allowed to lose one of those games. But that's the way that voting goes, and it's the way it's going to stay, I think.
Mike, could you see a guy like the Perkins from LSU winning the Heisman, a defensive player again, or do you think it's still an offensive award?
Well, under certain circumstances, I mean, it's not that the athlete, what they do doesn't matter. Because there's always 5 or 6 guys that have had great seasons, but at some point, what their team did comes in, is a factor. So if LSU were to win the national championship and he had a great role in that, yeah, it could still happen.
It does seem like they go to the best quarterback on the team with the most wins. It's like who was the best?
Yeah, they like to do that because they're the high profile guys. I mean, on TV they show.
And Mike, you remember the curse when it was like, was it Gino Torretta at Miami? He won the Heisman, then had a bad game. There used to be that kind of curse on those guys. They'd win the Heisman and then get outplayed in the bowl game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
and then.
I was going to say, Mike, maybe Rockets got an opportunity to win the Doak Walker Award. I mean, Darren McFadden. Yeah, McFadden won that twice. I don't think you have to, be a national championship contender to win that award. And it's not the Heisman, but it does go to the best running back in the country.
Yeah, and the Davey O'Brien thing is not always the Heisman winner. So, yeah, that if you talk that, then it becomes more of a reality. But Arkansas is just handicapped in that respect because a lot of these electors are ESPN people anyway. I read somewhere that 35 to 40% of the people that vote are ESPN employees. I don't know if that's true or not, but they just kind of don't I don't think they dislike Arkansas. I think Arkansas is not on their radar screen. How long has it been since College Game Day was here? You know, come on. They just don't. We're just kind of not. We're an afterthought here, unless you do jump up and do something really amazing.
Yeah,
the other thing people.
I'll tell you what that would be. I mean, you want to do something amazing. You want to get on everybody's radar is win in Baton Rouge in the first road game of the year. Simply put, any win during that 4-game stretch, even the A&M game because of the recent history against the Aggies. A win at Oxford, at Ole Miss, I think that'd be nice. That'd be big. The two things that'll get you on the radar right now, Mike, would be a win in Baton Rouge, which Arkansas has done before, but just the fact that that would be the 4th game of the year, I think would really raise people's interest nationally in Arkansas, being that LSU is the defending.
They're probably a preseason
division
top 5.
champion, and they're going to be up there. And a win at Alabama, man, I'd like to dream about it, of course, but it's been 16 years in a row since you got one.
Well, the people that are complaining about this brutal schedule, and it's brutal. But the only good thing about it is if you negotiate through that minefield and win 2, even 3 of those things, you've really done something. So it's a tough schedule, but there's an opportunity. And I don't know, I could be wrong about this, but I get a sense that this new defensive staff is going to make a big difference. I want to see what Enos does with KJ. I want to see how he changes as a quarterback. All we've been told. He's going to throw the ball better. He's not going to run pell-mell into people and get the crap knocked out of him and miss 2 games. He's going to know to go to the ground. And so I want to see if all that becomes reality. He's going to take some snaps under center. That's different. It's just different when you do that. The timing on the exchanges and all that, he's got to get all that down. So, but if that goes well, then you got a better defense and your offense doesn't have some of the weaknesses that it had the last 2 or 3 years, then maybe you're doing some big damage. But the main thing is the schedule is so tough that if you play well, you're going to get noticed.
Mike, I was looking around the college football landscape and saw this news on Pat Fitzgerald in this hazing deal. Do you know anything on this? And I was talking with Phil earlier. There wasn't any hazing going on when I was up there on the Hill. I don't know if you've heard about any coaches or any hazing, but Coach Nutt did a great job with that. None of that stuff was squashed before it even happened.
Yeah, of course, they're denying it, and this is beyond normal hazing. This is bizarro stuff. So, I have no idea if that went on. I can't imagine why somebody would make that up unless you had some freshmen that were mad and decided to start some really bad rumors and just see where it goes. But that is a story worth keeping your eye on, and I'm not aware that it's some sort of a national problem. I mean, there's always been some hazing of some type in a lot of places, but not anything like that. There's just this, going all the way back to high school, we had seniors that it was their job to take freshmen and make them do stuff. They'd make you get down on the sidewalk on your hands and knees in front of the high school building before school started when everybody's arriving and push pennies down the sidewalk with your nose and things like that, and you just had to do it, And teachers would walk by, principals see that, and they're just laughing because that was a tradition there. And then by the time I got out, somebody told me 2 or 3 years behind me they don't do that anymore. And I'm like, why not? I had to do it,
Well, that's different kind of stuff, having the freshmen carry the equipment, of a guy.
That's kind of what sing the fight song, stand up in the middle of the lunchroom and that, but carry the seniors' pads in or the footballs out there, stuff like that.
Or a talent show of some sort,
right.
Even where they've got to wear clothing they wouldn't normally wear, the kind of thing where I don't remember what it was called, but in the weight room where all of a sudden a freshman finds himself getting ketchup and mustard dumped on him and that kind of stuff. That could be quasi acceptable compared to some of the I was going to call it like fraternity pledgeship sort of stuff, but this seems to go a little bit beyond that, way beyond that. And look, I believe In these buildings, in these practice buildings, they are very large buildings. There's a lot of rooms, and I read where Fitzgerald doesn't go into the locker room ever. Even with all of that, a coach is responsible for what is happening inside his building, inside his program. When you make that money and you act like the buck stops with you, well, this is a buck, and it stops with him.
I can't compute a coach that says I don't go into the locker room. What is that all about?
Right.
Is it some sort of sacred place? I mean, if I'm a coach, I'm not giving my players that luxury. I may not always be in there, but they're going to know that I could be in there. I don't know. I read some of that stuff, and I've never heard of anything like that before. It just seemed bizarro. And like I say, right now they're denying it left and right. But I don't know where they're headed with this thing. Somebody could end up on the hot seat for that stuff.
Is that him and Nate Oates have the same type of publisher, same type of agent with the stuff they're coming out there and saying? You can't really plead ignorance when you're supposed to watch over the babies, you know?
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Mike, do you ever go on vacation? You're a hard worker, man. I mean, I'm in Michigan right now. I'm on a vacation. I'm working while I'm on vacation. Do you ever go anywhere? Do you like take time out of your busy life to go do some recreation?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going to be gone all next week. So you guys will not hear from me on Monday. I'm going. My sister, her husband is a big gas executive, oil and gas, whatever. The guy's a multimillionaire. She's got this huge house in Lubbock with a big, giant barn in the backyard and all this 4 or 5 acres behind the house. And she's having a reunion, and so far has over 100 people coming. You normally do those things at hotels. This thing is at her house, and they can put 100 people in this barn with tables and chairs, and they're going to feed everybody. It's all free. And I'm going to see people. There are people coming to this, guys. I don't know, Matt, how you were, but when I was a kid, my heroes were not guys I saw on TV. I'm an old man. I go back to a time when sports wasn't on TV that much. You saw locally, and the high school guys were the heroes to me. And I'm going to see some of these guys that I watched when I was 7, 8, 9 years old and went, whoa. And I haven't seen those guys since they graduated. So I'm going to get a chance to see some of them and then people my own age. So it's going to be fun.
I share that view. I felt the exact same way. You know, I went to camp. The high school teams I played on, you looked up to everybody that was older than you, even just in school and everything. And Facebook is an amazing thing because you see where everybody ends up in life in some cases, and it's like, well, I didn't think that guy would end up there, and my gosh, he doesn't look very good anymore. You don't really look up to him any longer, but I mean, now a chance to be in front of them face to face, maybe that's a bit different.
Yeah, I saw a guy when I was 9 years old stick a football over the goal line and get knocked out helmet-to-helmet contact, but scored the winning touchdown. Somehow, after he got hit in the helmet and knocked out, his hand still put that ball over the goal line. And I was just like, there's never going to ever be anything like that in my life again. It was amazing. And I saw him a few years ago and started talking to him about that, and he acted like he had no memory of it. He just like, what are you talking about? And I said, come on, I was standing there watching you do this. And he goes, I don't remember that. I said, well, because you were knocked out maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, probably so.
It's just, it's fun, you know. One of the little things you have left when you get to be my age, you kind of look back on, you get to see people. The internet is a great thing because it allows you to reconnect with a lot of these people that you haven't seen in a long time.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.